Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Group Chat. We have I have a big announcement today on today's episode. After our intro conversation, we dive right into it. Something I've been working on quietly with someone, a friend of the pod, and we're going to get into that, and then we get into news. We talk Elon. We talk stonks. Stonks are going up through the roof again.
We're back.
Yeah, it feels like stonks are back.
We'll see. Temporarily, hopefully long term.
And of course, we can't miss our favorite topic, live golf. I gotta watch this live golf one day. I'm obsessed with it. I haven't watched it yet.
I don't think anyone has.
Okay.
It's on YouTube.
Okay.
But they're big on social media.
So, luckily YouTube is partnering with Shopify to buy stuff. So maybe I'll buy a live hat.
Yeah, go for it.
All right. We have that and so much more. Let's get into it.
Cash.
Ladies and gentlemen, Group Chat.
Cash.
It's $1 trillion. Hot.
All right, everyone. We are back with another episode of Group Chat.
You've come a long way.
Have I?
So 1 week ago, you didn't know who Shohei Ohtani is.
No.
Arguably, we'll never see a player like him again, modern day Babe Ruth.
Did not even know he played baseball.
And you went to the home run derby yesterday.
Yeah.
And you're going to the All-Star game in a couple hours.
Yeah. I'm a big baseball guy. I got my baseball hat on.
Yeah. Who are you rooting for? Who you have your eyes on?
I love the guy. I don't know if he's in the All-Star game, but Julio Rodriguez, I'm a huge fan of. I don't know if he's an All-Star, but we sat down in our seats and this kid belted out 30 plus home runs in like 3 minutes. So I had never seen anything like it. I remember watching home run derbies growing up, and they were obviously very entertaining. As first time I ever got to see it live, it is fun. It is really, really fun.
Yeah.
So my friend Rafa, who's a sports agent that has 2 clients in the All-Star game and a listener of the pod, invited me yesterday and said, "Hey, do you want to bring Dominic to the home run derby?" And I was, at our warehouse in Vernon, and it was like 1:00, and I called my wife, and they were at the beach because it's summer break, and I'm like, ask him if he wants to go, and he goes, yeah, he wants to go. And so I came home. And the home run derby was at 5. I think we left like 4:15. And surprisingly, not a lot of traffic. Like it only took like 36 minutes to get to Dodger Stadium, which is kind of nuts considering, LA traffic. Get there, basically have the last parking spot. Like everyone obviously had gotten there very early because it's probably just the festivities. And the interesting thing was, Haley was like, "You should take the stroller." I was like, "You could take a stroller inside a stadium?" So I Google it, and it says you can check in at every level at Dodger Stadium. You can check in your stroller, which was great because this is so far where we parked.
Right.
So I put him in the stroller. We walked, and luckily it was like literally empty walking up and no line getting in because everyone had already been seated. We get there, we go check in the stroller, go find our seats, insane seats right behind home plate. And we sit down, and then this kid, Julio Rodriguez, belts out his 30 home runs. And
J-Rod. That's his nickname. I just
J-Rod?
Yeah.
Okay. J-Rod's great. This guy is just hitting home runs left and right. And it was interesting because like that was his first sporting event I've taken Dominic to. So I didn't know how. He's not like a person that likes noise and a ton of people and all that type of stuff. He kind of, he's averse to that stuff. And so he sat there quietly and he was asking questions, and it was so loud and whatever. He was enjoying it. Then I was like, he's like, "Is it almost dinner time?" I was like, "Yeah, let's go get food." So we go to the concession, and for whatever reason, even the concessions, everyone was like in their seats.
Right.
They don't want to miss.
Yep.
Concessions are empty. So we walk right up. And that's never happens at a Dodger game. It's always a line. And we order, get him a Dodger dog, a popcorn, and a water. And we go sit down, and he actually eats the Dodger dog, eats the popcorn, And I was like shocked.
Yep.
And then he sees some kids in front of us. They're like, "What's that, Dada?" And there's 3 little kids 2 rows in front of us. They have like 40 ounces of soda.
Okay.
And I'm like, there's no fucking chance you're ever having any of this.
Yeah.
And he's like, "What is that?" He goes, "It's a sweet drink." He's like, "Why can't I have it?" I'm like, "It's terrible for you." I say, "Okay, fine." And then
How old were the kids?
7 or 8.
Okay.
It's a little bit older. But they had a helmet. Okay. Like a Dodger full-size helmet of carne asada fries.
Not bad.
And a 40-ounce soda.
Were the kids chubby or are they?
One was like a tiny little kid. But I mean, like, I hope it's just a treat and it's not a normal occurrence in the family because it doesn't bode well for your health.
You get it. We went to Dodger games growing up. We always eat junk food, nachos, popcorn,
but I
soda.
was a chubby kid growing up. It's
Yeah.
not like I was some lean, mean machine. I ate poorly and it showed in my pictures. And then Dippin' Dots came by, which was it. He had that. It was great. And then we left. We left before we actually watched the last round of the home run derby at home.
Wow.
Yeah. 18 minutes from the parking lot to my house in Hollywood.
That's great.
That's insane.
There's also, I was driving a lot this morning. I think summer break.
Summer break, yeah.
I mean, I got across the other side of Southern California in like 45 minutes.
Nobody's here. Everyone's in Europe.
It's also true.
We're like the only people.
We're the only idiots here.
Yeah. Nobody is here.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw a funny tweet of a guy, I think he's in venture. He's like, "Yeah, I just start every meeting was like, oh, how was your Europe trip?" Because he just assumes everyone was there. And it's true. Everyone is there. And every week, all I see is a new group of people enjoying themselves in some coastal, either French Riviera, Amalfi.
Yeah. What country that has popped up the most on my social, which never normally does, at least at this pace, is Mallorca.
Wow.
I feel like the zeitgeist Mallorca is hot right now.
I would guess.
Because you get the typical Mykonos, Saint-Tropez, that's every year.
I think, honestly, if I were to guess why, is Mykonos, Saint-Tropez, and obviously like the Amalfi, that whole region is so expensive.
Mm-hmm.
You want to do a beach
Right.
European, you got to go to Mallorca, maybe go to Bodrum in Turkey.
I mean, there's so many great places in Europe. You really can't go wrong.
Yeah.
And if you want to be obnoxious and spend, you go to Saint-Tropez and Mykonos.
Yeah.
But you can still have a great beach European vacation in these other places. Like even southern Italy, I know is not super expensive.
Yeah. It's possible. I mean, I think like, I don't know. It seems like the whole world's in Europe. And they're in, not only that, like there's a heat wave going on in the big cities. I mean, 46 degrees Celsius in some of these.
Yeah. So I have a friend that was just in Rome and Paris right now, and it says it's over 100 degrees.
Yeah. Well, a very good friend of ours is in Rome, and he said it's, and he has 2 little kids, and he's unbearable. He's like, we cannot leave the hotel room. It's so hot. Russell Crowe posted on Twitter yesterday at the what is this? I forgot. What is it called? The state, in Rome, where the gladiator Colosseum. Yeah. He posted at the Colosseum. I brought my kids to show where I used to work.
Oh, wow. That's good. Yeah. Right now, today is the hottest day in London history. It's not a good sign for the planet.
I mean, LA seems nice.
It's hot in the valley.
But it's not like, it's actually quite nice the last 2 weeks in LA.
Yeah. It's not over 100 for sure.
August is usually the hottest month. August, September. Curious to see how the heat. But Europe feels like it's having a lot of challenges during this like excessive travel season.
Yeah.
So obviously the heat, the currency is just plummeting.
Yep.
I mean, it was 0.99. I saw someone tweet out, okay, Europeans, now it's called soccer. Enough of this football.
That's good. That's good.
But it's great for Americans who are traveling because you basically got a 20% discount.
Yeah. 20, 30% easy. And then the travel is a disaster. Heathrow's a complete mess.
Everyone's losing their bags.
Yeah. People are waiting 5-6 hours for their bags if they even come.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Despite that, people seem really happy there, though.
Yeah, I mean, I also think what was interesting is like, someone made a comment. My wife said, she's like, I don't see a lot of people posting about the Hamptons this year. Because I was like, probably normal Hamptons crowd. We're probably there the last 2 years.
Yep. They're over it.
Yeah, they're over it. They want to go do something else. And I was thinking about it from this perspective. If you were to go in summer somewhere, you really can only go to Europe from a global travel standpoint. There's no point to go to Asia. It's too hot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in Southeast Asia, like going to Thailand or, you know, in Bali or Hong Kong.
It's humid.
It's humid. It's just not like desirable time.
And it's like monsoon season, I think.
Yeah, it's
in
better to
Southeast
go
Asia.
in winter there. And by the way, all of those people still have pretty strict quarantines.
Yeah. It's not easy to get into.
So they're basically wiped from going, like Japan and all these places. And literally no one has gone to these countries in so long. Then Europe and Americans just traveled the shit out of already the last 2 years. So basically everyone's sick of America. And so Europe's basically the only place for Americans specifically to travel to that they haven't seen in a while. And even South America, it's winter, so you're not going there.
Yeah, because even only till recently did they remove you have to get tested before you come back to the country. So if you're a parent of any child, regardless of age, you can't get stuck in these countries.
Yeah.
You have to get home.
Yeah.
So it makes it like so much more desirable to travel now.
Yeah. I'm interested to see post September if Europe puts, you know, the testing back.
You think?
I think for the winter they should. Maybe not September because it's still tourist season.
Yeah.
October 1st. The rules change when they're convenient.
Of course. When there's no money to be made, they can be a little more strict.
Yeah.
September is still a big travel month.
Yeah. So I'm curious to see how that pans out. But yeah, the Europe FOMO is real. All right, we're going to move on. So I haven't talked about this in the podcast, mainly because we've been in stealth for the last 9 months. But if you may have caught wind on LinkedIn or Twitter, we announced a business that Josh Kaplan, my co-founder, and I have been building for the last 9 months. And it is around the excess inventory space.
Yep.
And it's called Ghost. So it's been in stealth mainly because we wanted to stay focused, not get distracted. And we wanted to prove concept that what we were building really is connecting with people. We had raised a seed round in November with Equal Ventures and ENIAC Ventures out of New York City. Two great early stage funds that were extremely helpful. And joining them was a lot of my friends who supported and invested, including you and Anthony over at WonderCo, and our buddy Zach at Sinai.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw that there's this enormous opportunity in the way people liquidate their excess inventory. The biggest challenge is that the process of liquidating excess inventory today is extremely painful and has not changed since this industry started. Probably this industry started like 75, 80 years ago. And the way to think about it, there are 3 ways people liquidate their excess inventory. First is by discounting on their own platform. So let's say if you're a brand or a retailer, you have excess inventory, you liquidate on your platform. And you may do 30% off. What you don't realize when you do that is the unit economics have drastically changed on e-commerce. And this is why like I intimately know why companies like Amazon and a lot of these other big retailers cannot successfully do this. Because why? Customer acquisition costs have gone through the roof. Return rates are record high. Shipping costs are record high. So when you give 30% off at the unit economic level, you're basically losing money. And you're selling it to the same exact people who've already been buying your stuff for full price. So what are you actually doing there? You're hurting your brand and your price integrity. So it's not a good strategy. Instead, you can find different ways to move it. So the next viable option, which a lot of brands, particularly larger brands, do, is let me go sell to TJ Maxx, Burlington, and Ross. Very difficult process if you're not operationally set up to do business with them. It could take a month to become a vendor. It could take 90 days to get paid. And the process is quite arduous for a brand that is digitally native. Or even a large brand. They don't want to service the thousands of discount retailers all over the country and figure out pricing, figure out relationship. There's a lot that goes into it. And then finally, there's these people called jobbers or liquidators. And those folks consolidate everyone's excess inventory, buy it for pennies on the dollar, and then arbitrage it so that they can make some money on it. But the challenge is you're not too sure where those goods end up. So they may end up on Amazon or Walmart.com or places you don't want it to be, and it could hurt your brand. So what we're doing is building a private B2B marketplace where we protect the brands, let them have access to all of the retailers, and match them with the right retailers based on their distribution preferences and price expectations. There's a lot of secret sauce that goes on in between that I'm not going to share. But the idea really here is that there's an enormous opportunity with the $500 billion of excess inventory annually sitting on balance sheets. There's a sustainability play here where a lot of these goods do end up in landfills, do get burned, and don't have a proper home. And what we're doing here is really solving an enormous problem for a lot of brands. And it's not just apparel. It's beauty brands, it's home goods, it's furniture, it's consumables. So we're doing it across all categories. We've onboarded north of 100 brands. We have all the biggest retailers in the space domestically and globally. And, we've got enough traction where we were fortunate enough for Union Square Ventures, who we've talked about in this podcast all the time, led our Series A. And
so Union Square Ventures is based out of New York City. It's run by a guy named Fred Wilson, who is considered a legend in Silicon Valley investing, even though they're based in New York. He has an incredible blog that I've been reading for years, avc.com, where he blogs every single day, doesn't take a day off.
Yeah.
Whether it's like a simple thought or he breaks down a business. If you were following Fred Wilson in 2009, you would have heard of a thing called Bitcoin. And he said, I'm going to start dabbling in this. And a lot of gems if you follow Fred Wilson. So, now that you're a venture-backed CEO, you now overnight become an expert on all topics.
I'm an expert.
COVID,
whatever,
politics,
education
reform, healthcare. You're solving everything.
I can comment on anything.
Yes.
And have free will.
Time for a thread. Number one.
I need to write a thread.
Yeah.
That should be the first thing.
Yeah.
I write a thread.
Yeah, you're an expert.
So the partner at Union Square Ventures, her name is Rebecca Caden. She has a lot of experience in the marketplace, B2B marketplace space, and was like a true believer in what we're doing. And Rick Zullo over at Equal Ventures, who is the co-founder and partner there, doubled down. And so did Nahal Mehta over at ENIAC. And so the three of them came in and really led the round, the Series A round. And then we got participation from, you may have got the hint when Ben Braverman was here. Flexport is an investor, and another fund called Human Capital. And then, of course, all of our close friends participated as well. So needless to say, enormous opportunity. We are hiring. We're hiring for a number of positions. We're looking for world-class talent. We want the smartest people. This is a humongous opportunity, a very challenging opportunity. And it's bridging technology with a very old way of doing business, which is classic opportunity for disruption, but not easy. Not easy by any stretch of the imagination. We have the resources now to go and execute, but we're looking for talent. So head over to our LinkedIn page on Ghost. The reason why we're called Ghost is we make inventory disappear, but more importantly, we operate in the background. I personally was not even for doing any press or even announcing, because I know how sensitive this is for brands, and I don't want to put their business out there. We don't really reveal who our brands are. We want to protect them because we want them to stay successful and prove that they're incredible businesses rather than it's not about us, it's about solving their problem. And then we have the best discount retailers in the world as customers. And so it's about servicing them. And so that's what we're building. And if you're interested, head over to ghst.io, look at the careers page, or on LinkedIn. And we're hiring. We're hiring engineering talent. We're hiring for chief of staff. And, just to give you like the level of like amazing talent you can get surrounded by when you have like an incredible opportunity. Shub, who's been our chief of staff for the last 2-3 months, unbelievable young man.
Yep.
He is sadly leaving us for Harvard Business School in a month. We got one more month to kind of convince him. But just to give you his background, he went to Harvard undergrad, worked at Bridgewater,
which is Ray Dalio's fund.
He was on, I think, the chief of staff there, was working at another fund here that was an investor in our business, and reached out to us, and he's a beast.
Yeah,
I think you took him to some, and he loves baseball, oddly enough.
He's one of the only people left that loves baseball.
Indian, too.
Indian.
It's really odd that an Indian
from New Jersey
that loves baseball.
So yeah, I took him Sunday night. Our friends at John Boy Media, Trevor Plouffe, and they threw a party at Sofitel, and Ryan Braun and I went, and you take it for granted how big Ryan Braun is.
Yeah.
Like Shub was like shaking in the Uber over. And then he pulled me aside at the party, was like, I was trying to keep my cool. Because Ryan's just a kid we grew up with. Happened to become a superstar.
Yeah. So crazy.
And it's really nuts. And he is he going to the game? Shub?
He threw his back out.
That's right. He threw his back out and muscled through just to get to the party.
He didn't muscle to work because he threw his back out. But yeah, exciting because like you get to have people like Shub work with you, and I think the biggest learnings for me is that being in apparel, you're exposed to only apparel people. And obviously we were exposed through investing to a lot of technology people, but I never got the chance to really work with them. And now that I'm exposed and have the ability to surround myself with that kind of talent also. Yeah. Because there's certain skill sets that apparel people in this particular business still have to do. And then there's all this technology and data and strategy that we're implementing to make this business really scale. And now we're surrounding ourselves with that level of talent and people that are expertise, like specifically in the data and technology sphere. I mean, we're interviewing people daily. There's some brilliant people out there.
Yeah, you've obviously been a founder for over 2 decades, but this is a new like kind of industry you're going into.
New frontier.
Because it's venture, it's Silicon Valley, it's investors. And I think obviously just being from the investing side, and obviously you're on the founder side, I think the biggest difference, and correct me if you think differently, is that when you get to this venture world, nothing is the limit, right? Yeah. They want you to just go big.
Yes.
They don't want the like singular double outcome.
No.
They're basically like, you have, TAM of 500 billion, go get it.
Yeah, all of it. Yeah. It's winner take all, right? And I think it is. I'll tell you, so, I won't go into too much depth, but the seed round fundraise was still in a very healthy climate and was done. I pitched a lot of people, but it was done relatively quickly. And obviously it's seed, it's a different dynamic, very different world. Series A, we went out in April. I mean, every day we were pitching, the market was down 2 to 3%. I was having panic attacks. I was like, what is going on with the market? But I'll tell you this, and everyone will tell you the fundraising market is dead. If you are the right team for the right opportunity, there is money out there. You just have to prove yourself. And the diligence process is much different now. The amount of homework these folks did to get to the comfort level to write a check was real work. They were not like what we heard a year ago. Oh, I'm just going to send a text message and give you $20 million.
So, just to tell you, obviously 18 months ago, Tiger was writing hundreds of millions of dollars in term sheets in 24 hours.
Yeah.
And they said this offer, you have 24 hours to accept this.
Yeah.
And people were taking it as they should. And that environment has completely changed.
I had folks do 8 personal references on me. One fund. 8 personal references. Forget business, personal.
Right. That diligence was not happening 18 months ago. I don't care what any investor is saying.
No, the amount of diligence, customer references, personal references, the amount of homework and questions they gave us, and how well prepared we were for the process. We came to the table with a 25-page FAQ of everything you need to know about our industry before you ever met us. And they still took their time, and how many investment committees we pitched and how many term sheets we had to go through. Like, it was a very rigorous process to get across the finish line. Yeah,
I think this investing environment hasn't been this challenging in over 12 years.
Yeah.
And it happened overnight.
Yeah.
Like December, the party was going on. March, the lights were off. They pulled the DJ plug.
Yeah. Just like, you better dance. There's no music.
And I had a front row seat to it, being in the office every day.
Yeah.
And I was just telling you and Josh, get the fucking money in, get the money in. Because it's in these types of environments when the market's turned completely, a signed term sheet isn't worth the term sheet.
Yeah. Well, it depends who it comes from.
Tiger's backing out of term sheets now.
Yeah, but I would say that like your traditional tier one ventures, I haven't heard any of them pulling term sheets.
But you never know with the next Black Swan event, what is Putin doing? They're going to shut it down.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how tier one you are. Like if Russia does something crazy, China does something to Taiwan, it's over.
Yeah. That's fair. But to be fair, that I haven't heard that from any of the top funds that are kind of the reputable long-term VCs. They've all kind of held strong, and I think they have reputational risk. That's what a lot of the people we talk to is like, if we're going to give this to you, we're in it. We believe in this, and so that's the journey we're on. I think it's going to be incredibly eye-opening. I think it's going to be really fun. But like any business, you got to execute. That's what it comes down to.
This is where the rubber meets the road.
Yeah.
You got the capital, you have tier one VCs.
Yeah.
And now,
And I would encourage, if you're interested in the business at all, I would encourage you, Equal Ventures posted, go follow Rick Zullo on Twitter. He posted an incredibly in-depth analysis of the space. And so did Rebecca Caden at USV. Also did a incredible in-depth blog post on the USV blog about what we're building and why she believes it's an incredible opportunity. The other thing I'll leave you with is the power of the Cathys. One of the catalysts for fundraising the seed round was Kevin Weatherman, who ironically got introduced to the podcast when we went to New York to do Michael Katz's conference.
Yeah.
And Particle. And Kevin became a listener. We became friends with Kevin. I was in New York in September, and Kevin was asking about, what I'm working on. And I had kind of thrown this out, and he was very supportive and very helpful in that seed round. Cause sometimes you just need that push, which got the catalyst going. And then Anand was making intros, and then, everyone just it became like a team effort to get across this finish line. But it's pretty cool. Power to the Cathys.
I was just in New York for the first time in years last month, and the technology hub it's becoming is crazy.
Yeah.
Everyone from Silicon Valley's there like at least a week a month.
Yeah.
And obviously New York has its own ecosystem, but I was just hearing from people like, oh, I'm in New York. I'm in New York. I
mean, we have our 3 biggest investors are all New York venture funds. Not
San Francisco really fucked up.
Yeah.
They had a monopoly on this.
Monopoly. That's crazy that I think we only made We made 2 trips to San Francisco in the process.
And everyone's opened up offices there.
And not to, it's not a knock, but we met with nobody in LA. We had like one casual conversation.
Crazy.
And there's money in LA.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we wouldn't name the names of the funds, but there's some decent sized one too.
Yeah, which Sinai was in the seed, and they're an LA fund. But yeah, I mean, we did not get for the Series A, like we didn't get like a big lead type fund.
That's really bad for LA's ecosystem.
Yeah.
Because it's in their backyard.
And like very native LA people. It's not like, you know, so, and big shout out to Josh Kaplan, my co-founder. I mean, he probably hasn't slept in 3 months, but
longer,
like has 6 months. He just absolutely crushed it throughout the process. And just been incredibly dynamic in the way he's handled everything. And, you know, it's interesting because like when you have a co-founder, it's so much of it is like a dynamic too, right? Like what part do you play in the game? And he plays extremely well into my weaknesses, and it allows me to be focused on what I'm really good at, which is an incredible.
I've seen, because I sit literally in the office next door to him during this whole kind of transition to building this company. Like, I can, you know, his door's open, so I'm hearing the calls. Like, he's figured it out.
Yeah.
He's a pro.
It's crazy. Like, even I remember when our first pitch, it was like to our last. It's so dialed now.
Yeah,
and
it's good.
When we go pitch a brand, we pitch a retailer. Like, I think we know what we're doing now and how we're building it, so we feel very confident. But yeah, we are building a marketplace that uses data and technology to make this entire process highly scalable and efficient. So
congratulations to both you and Josh.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So, you know, we'll keep you updated on the journey. And you know, this will be the only real source for Ghost News.
That's good.
We got to keep it exclusive here. All right. Well, let's move on to some interesting news. You know, one of the challenges of the last couple of months of fundraising was the market was just getting destroyed every day.
Yep.
There was no rhyme or reason. It was just going down, down, down.
It's funny because we have it from both perspectives. Now I'm extremely exposed to the public markets.
Yeah.
And I was just watching every single day just shit go down. And then you're exposed in the private markets where the investors are getting scared.
Yeah. It's crazy. And then I don't know what the hell happened the last 2 weeks. There's absolutely not one good piece of news that's come out.
Yeah.
The market is absolutely ripping.
Yeah.
And I think the even interesting thing, the riskiest assets are ripping. Like ETH is up 50%.
Yep.
In what, 2 weeks?
In 2 weeks, it was trading sub 1,000 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. And all the growth stocks, which, you know, those are where these guys got really creamed, are now just charging back.
Yeah, and the volumes are crazy. This isn't like...
And this is summer.
Yeah, everyone's in Europe just buying stocks.
Yeah, what are you doing in Mykonos and Scorpios? But yeah, I couldn't believe... And the thing is like, you know, last week, all the data, the CPI was off. Everything was off. And not off enough where people thought it would be a lower rate hike. They thought it'd be a more aggressive rate hike. And then earnings are getting recalibrated and the dollar is too strong. Energy's back up. Crude oil is back to 104.
So this is the thing with the stock market specifically, and you have all these fund managers, is they get paid to invest money. So despite the market just being absolutely creamed the last 7 months, at some point they come back in because that's what they're paid to do.
Yeah. That's
the job. It's not to, if you're a family office, yeah, you can sit on the sidelines and just wait because it's your capital.
Yeah.
But if you're charging 2 and 20 and you're a hedge fund, why the hell are they paying 2% to sit in cash?
Yeah. But I mean, you could still short the market, right?
Yeah, but shorting's not for everyone.
Yeah.
You have to be like, that's a whole different skill set that most people don't have.
Yeah, and I think the risk there is just too high.
Yeah, it's unlimited, unbound if you short a stock. But I think,
We always knew that the market would rip back before the economy.
The economy is going to be crumbling and the market will be ripping.
Yeah.
That's how this plays out.
Yeah.
And
don't you think this is a bit of a head fake, though? It doesn't feel like all the pain is done.
no, it doesn't feel like, look, I mean, I think it's going to be choppy for a bit, but it's incredible strength for the riskiest assets to have rallied this much.
Yeah.
Like 2 weeks ago, people were calling for the end of crypto, and how much in market cap is increased?
Yeah.
And so when you see things like this, there could be profit takers soon. So you might see a little correction.
Yeah.
But I don't think we retest the lows of the market from, call it 60 days ago, because the market clearly showing that it's resilient, and it's the riskiest stocks that are resilient.
Yeah.
So I think the worst of the worst is over. I'm not calling for like a bullish rally right away, but I think we're getting close. Because that's in March, April, May, everyone was like, we haven't hit capitulation yet. We're basically like, the smart money comes in when everyone's panicked, when everyone's given up. That's capitulation.
Yeah.
Like, we gave up. Like, it's over.
Which, if you saw, Warren Buffett was buying...
He was buying Occidental Petroleum.
Like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when everyone's panicked and everyone's running for the doors and leaving the game, that's when the smart money comes in.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have 2x pretty much across the board any growth stock.
Yeah, which is wild.
In 60 days.
Yeah.
So someone made a lot of money.
It's the usual people. And even on crypto, with specifically ETH, forget all the other coins, that the altcoins really haven't made the comeback yet. But ETH has traded $30 billion in the last 24 hours. 30 billion. Yeah. That's insane. And and we know all these crypto funds have liquidated, so they have no money. So it has to be either foreign governments or traditional mega funds that are buying this stuff. Because where is this money coming from?
Yeah, because the biggest crypto funds, I think, top out at 5-6 billion.
And they're not, and they probably allocated most of that.
If not, they're in a million projects not named Ether.
Yeah, exactly. So somebody is buying, and I know they have the big merge or whatever's happening, but it's just like that. There's something going on where someone is accumulating mass amounts of this, because it's not retail. Retail has left the building.
Retail lost all their money.
Yeah, they're not fueling this.
Yeah. It's this is a perfect example last 2 weeks. When everyone's running for the doors, the smart money comes in.
Yeah.
It's across all assets.
Yeah. Except watches. I feel like watches are plummeting.
Are they?
Yeah. Rolex and Pateks have dropped.
But they dropped from its peak, but you're still higher than 19, right?
Yeah.
I've seen that chart.
Yeah. So I'm curious to see how it plays out across all these other assets. But yeah, look, unfortunately, the recession is still here. I did see gas. My neighborhood gas had dipped to $5.99. Which
That's
is
good.
Yeah. Which is, we're in the ballpark. Curious to see how the market reacts. We have some big earnings that are about to come out, which we'll get to shortly. But let's jump to this big Twitter Elon Musk saga.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, Elon Musk is in Mykonos. That's actually bigger news.
With Ari Emanuel.
Oh, that's who's on the boat?
That's who's showering him.
Wow, Ari Emanuel's in great shape.
Yeah.
What's funny is that everyone was making jokes that it was only a $22 million boat, that even the recession affects Elon Musk.
Seems like he's probably a guest of the boat.
Elon?
Yeah. I don't think it's his.
He
doesn't seem like a guy that gives a shit about yachts.
No. Or anything.
Yeah.
Oh, clearly exercise.
Mm-hmm. But he's 51.
But the problem is we have an example of Jeff Bezos.
Yeah.
Do you think he just doesn't care about his health?
I don't think he cares about anything.
Anything, right?
I really don't think. I think he cares about Mars.
He could use a little sun. I think it'll be healthy if he got some vitamin D.
Yeah. Look, most 51-year-olds aren't looking like
Jeff Bezos.
But yeah, so I guess Ari Emanuel just gave him the call and said, isn't Ari on the board? Or Elon's on the board of WME? Right?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah. There's some relationship there. Yeah, he looks like he's having a good time. While he's having a good time, everyone's gunning for him,
Mm-hmm.
including the judge in the trial, who has known to force a buyout before.
Okay.
Of a similar situation where someone opted out. She has forced the purchase of a company. The trial was trying to get delayed by Elon Musk. It is now October 22nd, and it's 5 days. I mean, blockbuster.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's going to get screwed here. And he may not have the financing anymore because the market turned. Like, who wants to buy Twitter at $44 billion when the whole market's corrected?
It depends on what happens to Tesla stock. I think if it just rips, people might just come back into I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, and then separately, billionaire Jeff Bezos, what Mediterranean is he in? Where is he? He was on a boat, shirtless, ripped.
Yeah. I mean, these guys are just living their life.
Yeah,
it's great.
So Lauren Sanchez, Jeff Bezos' girlfriend, paid a visit to Paris with some of her friends after having spent time in Africa's Serengeti. She lives a great life too.
50s is the new 20s.
Yeah.
I can't wait till I'm 50.
Yeah, these guys.
Everyone who's 50 is balling out of control.
Yeah, I mean,
I got a decade of work left in me.
How old's Ari Emanuel? He looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Shredded.
No, you look like a 35-year-old. They look terrible.
Yeah, how does everyone have a six-pack? You know how hard it is to get a six-pack?
Well, you got HGH.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah. I've been dying to get on HGH.
Just maybe your 50th birthday, start a cycle.
I was going to start at 40, but I have to work out, and I don't have the time.
Yeah.
Interesting. But the trial is going to be crazy.
Yeah,
Insane.
he'll break every confidentiality rule. He'll be live tweeting the trial.
Yeah. It's picking memes of like, it's going to be like a joke. And the thing is I think even if he's forced to buy it, he'll just do it. I think he'll just have no choice and he'll just do it.
I don't know. Coming up with $44 billion in this environment, it's not easy.
I think people want to be in the Tesla business or the SpaceX business. So you go to Goldman, you go to JP Morgan and be like, you want the SpaceX IPO?
Right.
You're going to give me this money right now.
Yeah, they're boring company, Neuralink.
You know how many more IPOs this guy has?
That's true. But man, key man risk. He's the biggest key man risk.
That's what I'm saying. Get in shape.
Yeah, he needs to.
Maybe Goldman Sachs goes, we'll give you the $44 billion, but we need you to get a trainer.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, he is extremely important to the success of those companies. Okay, here's some news that just came out. Netflix earnings have just come out.
How good is the headline? I just got the Wall Street Journal.
I didn't see it, yeah.
Here we go. Let me read it. Netflix lost subscribers in back-to-back quarters for the first time ever. Shares rose 8% in after hours. Because they're saying we're going to add users next quarter.
Yeah, so they lost 970,000 subscribers. They were expecting to lose 2 million.
Wow.
So it was a pretty big jump. Their earnings actually beat expectations. The revenue was slightly lower, so they clearly have cut cost, and Wall Street likes it.
Wall Street, all they want to hear this quarter is cut costs.
Cut costs, and you get a
medal.
Your stock gets to go up, and it's trading in after hours right now up $12,
9%,
like that. Boom, back in business. That's good. I'm happy for them. I like Netflix.
Yeah, why not?
It's great. I think there's a lot of earnings coming out between this week and next, so we'll stay tuned to hear kind of what's happening there.
It's basically the next 30 days is earnings season. Yeah.
A lot of earnings coming. And a lot of big, important ones. Like I think Tesla's is going to be really big. Who else is coming that I think? Let's see. Maybe Tesla's today. Is Tesla today?
I don't know.
We'll see. I'm really curious to see Facebook's and Apple's.
And Shopify.
Yeah. Shopify, I'm not bullish on.
But if they just signal like, hey, we're cutting costs, pathway to profitability.
But Netflix losing 1 million less subscribers is huge. Because people are expecting the worst and the worst didn't happen.
Yeah,
so
it's true.
if you can deliver on that, then sure, I think you can continue to win. Here's some pretty interesting news. And I think this could be, I don't know the level of integration and I haven't seen it yet, but YouTube is now partnering with Shopify where in video on YouTube, you can check out.
So live shopping is obviously massive in China.
It's working in other parts of the world.
I just don't know if kind of culturally we care as much.
So there's a lot of folks that have raised money for it. I agree with you today. That is not the habit, but QVC, Home Shopping Network are still massive businesses that work.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a customer base that is willing to do it. My opinion is that everyone's going after like Gen Z. Instead, you should be going after the boomers because I think it's more natural that the boomer has time and the patience to sit and watch a video about some interesting product that they will then convert to a purchase. And I think inherently, as you get older, you have that patience level to sit through it. Everyone's going after Gen Z, trying to figure out their phone real estate is too valuable.
That works in China, and it's worked. Many companies have done it. I just don't see it working for the youth, like you said here.
I think the live shopping people should focus older.
Yeah, because
and
think
higher
about
ticket items.
The Gen Z customer doesn't even have money.
Yeah.
What are they gonna? What's their purchasing power?
Yeah, $30.
Yeah. You watch a TikTok video, you're not gonna buy Bryce Hall's hat.
Yeah. No, and I think that's where the opportunity is imagine if it was for Restoration Hardware and they did a live shopping show. I think it works. Like if they give you an in-depth analysis of the cloud couch live with a creator that you love, or we're gonna set up a baby room today. That shit would crush.
Yeah, baby room would crush. Because everyone, if you're a new parent, it's like
the one thing you'll spend on.
Yeah, you don't want your kid in a shitty crib.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, and I think I think people are too. If you look at the QVC HSN demo. That's the demo everyone should be targeting for live shopping.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Right now. Maybe down the line, there'll be a bigger demographic. But, I've seen it. I've seen people go after it with the younger demographic, and I think it's just hard.
From my understanding, in China, it's a form of entertainment more than it is commerce.
Yeah.
That's why it works, because they view that as the entertainment.
Yeah.
This is more utility in the US. No one's watching live shopping for fun. At least youth isn't.
Yeah. I know there's some people will tell you that there are some businesses that are working. I just don't think they're at scale yet.
Mm-hmm. We'll see.
I would just target niche audiences and older. Like for example,
like a gardening, gardening.
Hobbyist. Yeah. I think a hobbyist is a demographic that would crush.
Like I could see our mom watching a gardening YouTube and buying like
a rake.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it. All right. Well, I mean, we'll have to see how it all pans out, but I like it. I think it's a good move for Shopify. They're testing it in India first, and then I think Brazil, which I think more likely to work in some of these other countries. But e-commerce in India still haven't proven to be successful.
The Indian customer doesn't like to spend money. It has to be discounted.
Yeah.
In India.
Yeah. All right. Last but not least. One of our favorite topics to talk about recently is around the Live Golf Tour.
Mm-hmm.
We've become pretty obsessed, in fact. And one thing that I have was scrolling on yesterday, and I was like, I see Live Golf Tour trending. And I click on it, and it's Donald Trump. Donald Trump had a couple of little comments. And his comment goes like this. All of those golfers that remain loyal, he puts in quotes, to the very disloyal PGA in all of its different forms will pay a big price when the inevitable merger with Live comes. And you get nothing but a big thank you from PGA officials who are making millions of dollars a year. If you don't take the money now, you will get nothing after the merger takes place. And only say how smart the original signees were.
He does golf a lot.
Yeah. He golfs every day.
There's already antitrust case happening in PGA.
Yeah.
Which I think is kind of funny that the way that American government operates is that you penalize the homegrown product and let the Saudi-backed product just go unfiltered.
Yeah, no one cares where
Same
the money's
like
coming.
TikTok, Facebook, like
Shein, all that.
Zuck has to go get his ass kicked in front of Congress while TikTok just runs free.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah. And this is...
I do agree that there's going to be when they get too much talent, those $125 million guarantees aren't going to be there.
Yeah. It'll only be for the guys who took the money.
Who did it first.
Yeah. I saw another guy's leaving.
Which guy?
Some guy says taking 90 mil.
So much money. How can you turn that down?
Yeah.
Like, I know Tiger Woods had his comments, but he's a billionaire.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
He can turn down $700 million, but
I don't think he can. You don't think Tiger Woods has an expensive lifestyle?
Of course he does, but he probably has a lifetime Nike deal, lifetime everything. Like, he's gonna make money the rest of his life.
Yeah, but I don't know. 500 in this inflationary environment would be nice.
He lives in Orlando. Probably has a cheap life other than flying private.
He's got kids. He's got ex-wife. Like, these are expensive things. Flies private, probably. I mean, he's not in a public airport.
No.
I mean, boats, vacations.
So, especially if you're an athlete, you have a finite number of years you get to earn at this crazy level, right? Like, it's not feasible for everyone but Tiger Woods, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, and like Kobe, who can make money, hundreds of millions of dollars for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
So how can you turn it down? It's like fiscally irresponsible.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think for an individual, there's no brainer. And I think if I'm the PGA, I'd change my tune really, really quick and figure out how to work in unison so you don't destroy what you built.
I asked a friend who's raised money in the Middle East, and he was there recently and basically was like, the entire region revolves around the price of oil. So he was there when oil was above $100.
Yeah.
So it was like the party's on. And I asked him, because he spent some time there, I was like, what happens if we have $40 oil? He's like, there will be no more live. It'll disappear overnight. He said everything in that region just revolves around oil.
Yeah. But they've extracted enough for at least the first set of payments to these guys.
You want to get front loaded if you're a live golfer.
Yeah, I mean, they're happily buying Russian oil right now. They're chilling.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all we got, folks. We will see you Thursday. Gonna head on over to the All-Star game today.
Pick me up a hat.
I'll pick you up a hat. You want the same hat I got?
Yeah, I like it.
Okay. And yeah, go baseball.
Big baseball guy.
Big baseball guy. I might make a shirt that says big baseball guy.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be the where you're sitting, you'll probably run into like 100 people,
Yeah.
Because I've gone with Mikey during the World Series, and it's like going to Delilah.
Yeah.
He's running to everyone,
How does everyone have good seats? It's unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Agents that we've known for years.
Yeah.
Actors.
Notable actors.
Notable actors. Is Omar going?
I don't know. I thought he was in Europe or something.
Tennis? He might be. He might be in Europe.
All right, everyone. We will see you back here on Thursday. Bye-bye.
Peace.